Hi, I'm Caleb Weber, here with Braden Fickle and Anthony Silvani. The Buccaneers beat the Cowboys 31-29 in the NFL season opener in a game where Dak Prescott returned. Braden, what do you think about that?
It was a good game by the Cowboys. The Bucs came out on top, but the Cowboys looked really good. I like to see what they have in store for the rest of the season. But I'm big on both these teams here. What about you?
Yeah, I really like the way the Cowboys played. Not just their offense, but their defense kind of stepped up. We know last year their defense was bottom of the league, but they forced turnovers. They got stops when they needed to. Unfortunately, though, their game was kind of ruined by Greg Zuerlein, who couldn't hit field goals. Unless he had one late in the fourth quarter, but they left too much time on the clock for Tom Brady, and Tom Brady just did what Tom Brady does. I was really disappointed in what Mike Evans brought, though. He had one catch maybe for 10 yards, I think.
Yeah, you see him go to the sideline there, too, with a little injury, but then come back right on the field. Does that concern you at all? Because Mike Evans, he's pretty injury prone, so...
No, I don't think it concerns. It's just, remember, most of these Bucs starters didn't play preseason. They didn't play a lot of snaps, so they're just used to it. And it's going to happen week one. You're going to get some injuries.
The Raiders upset the Ravens 33-27 on Monday Night Football. Anthony, what do you think about that?
I thought it was a great game. One of the wildest endings we've ever seen. They got the ball, thought they scored in overtime, got back to the one, couldn't push it in, then threw an interception. And then the Ravens fumbled and Raiders won. I thought it was a great game. The Ravens defense really threw that game for the Lamar had a great game, but the defense just ruined it.
Yeah, I kind of thought the Raiders were going to upset this game. They always play great on Monday Night Football. Said Darren Waller, he's a beast on Monday night. He put up 100 yards, scored a touchdown, 10 catches. And I just like the way that the Raiders played this game. The Ravens, I think they kind of struggled a little bit, but they're still going to be a good team. And I just like the way the Raiders played, so it was a good game by them.
The Saints upset and blow out the Green Bay Packers 38-3 after an impressive debut from Jameis Winston, who threw for 5 touchdowns. Anthony?
I thought it was a great performance from New Orleans. All 3 phases was working for them. The receivers, they were without Michael Thomas, but they still blew him out. And Jameis Winston only threw 148 yards, but what he did, to that Packers defense, which we thought was going to be better, was really good. I really like what Jameis Winston. I think he's going to be. They could make the playoffs, but a sneaky team.
Yeah, he did what he had to do with the 148 yards, but he still put up 5 touchdowns. The offense was just moving the ball, but that's because the defense was just getting stops, getting takeaways, and putting them in good field position. And the Packers just looked awful. Aaron Rodgers, terrible quarterback in week 1.
He looked like he didn't care.
Yeah, he really didn't. Every cut to the sideline, he just threw his helmet down, sat on the bench, drank some Gatorade. He just didn't seem focused into the game. And I don't know if we're going to see that the rest of the year from Aaron Rodgers. Do you think there's any chance they go to Jordan Love at all?
If he keeps playing like this, and they play the Lions, I think if they lose to the Lions, they're going to think about it. But other than that, I can't see Jordan Love making an appearance. On his 2 interceptions, he had one overthrow and then one behind Devontae Adams. Again, just didn't care. He doesn't want to be there. He wanted to get traded. He signed the contract, and he's done after this year in Green Bay, so he's just looking forward to that.
Oregon upsets Ohio State 35-28 to move from number 12 in the rankings to number 4. Braden?
It was a great game by Oregon. They look so comfortable out there. And it's pretty hard to go on the road to Ohio State and get a win there. It was a great game by them. Moving up to the 4th spot is huge. The top 4 teams make the college football playoffs. So, just if they can keep winning games and stay in that 4th spot, they're going to be a dangerous team this year. I really like how Oregon played that game.
Yeah, I really like their game plan going in. They shut down C.J. Stroud in the first half to only 7 points. That's the lowest under Ryan Day. I think under Urban Meyer too that they've scored in a while. In Oregon, their offense was rolling. Anthony Brown looked really good out there. So did C.J. Verdell. He stole the show. But I really like Anthony Brown, the quarterback. He makes throws on the run like most NFL quarterbacks are going to need. I think he'll be a great player. I think Oregon has a really good shot to make the playoffs.
Moving on to the argumented portion of our show. Braden, who will be the 4 teams to make it to the college football playoff?
So we got to go with Alabama. You know they're going to be in it. I'd say Georgia too. They're a really good team. They got a hard schedule ahead of them, so you never know how that's going to play out. But I think those two, I mean, Alabama's a lock unless they lose a stupid game, but I don't see them losing anything. So I'd got Alabama, Georgia, and then I'd say OU. They don't really play anybody. If they drop one to one of those Big 12 schools, then maybe they can make it out. But and then if Oregon, I mean, the Pac-12 isn't that strong, so I think they can win the rest of their games, and those could be the four right there.
I don't agree that Georgia's going to make it. You have to remember, I think Alabama plays Georgia later on the season, then they have to meet again in the SEC championship. So one of those teams is more than likely going to fall out. I think Bama, again, I think they're going to probably win the whole national championship. So I got Bama number 1, and then number 2, I'm going to go with Oklahoma. I think Spencer Rattler, Heisman candidate, I think he's a great quarterback. He's going to lead Oklahoma to the playoff. Maybe again, I think maybe they could win it too. And then number 3, I go Oregon. I think they win the Pac-12 with ease. I don't see any trouble in there. Maybe Arizona or Arizona State can give them something, but I don't see it, so I'm going to go with them. And then I'm going to go with number 4 is Clemson. I think they lost week 1 to a very good Georgia team, but I think they're going to keep it rolling, win the rest of their games, win the ACC conference, and I think they're going to be back in the playoffs.
Yeah, my thing with Georgia actually is if they steal one of those games at Alabama, then that they're in, no matter what. Like unless they lose some games, but I think that Georgia, if they play Alabama twice, they meet them in the championship. If they win one of those games, Georgia and Alabama are both in, get 2 SEC teams, and I think it's Oregon and Oklahoma.
I just think that with Bama being so much superior to Georgia, I think they're going to blow them out in those 2 games. And I mean, yes, Georgia quarterback's very good. They could keep pace with them for most of the game, but then Alabama will pull away late like they normally do. I just can't count out Dabo Swinney and what that Clemson team is. Even without Trevor Lawrence, they're still a great team.
Turning back to the subject of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, should there be any concern, Anthony?
Again, if it all depends on Aaron Rodgers. If he plays like he did last week, then yes, there is. But I really don't think so. I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to probably win the NFC North. It's one game. You can't overreact after one game. And Matt LaFleur is still the lead head coach. I think they're going to be fine this year.
I'm going to have to disagree. I think that Aaron Rodgers, when you put up 3 points in a game, just if any regular season game, when you have the MVP from last year on your team, there should be a concern. If he doesn't get hurt and he plays all 4 quarters and he puts up 3 points, that's a concern to me. He just didn't look good. Definitely going to see what he does in week 2 playing a Lions defense who's terrible. So yeah, they can, but Aaron Rodgers, if they don't have any concerns with Aaron Rodgers and he's going to come out there for 350 yards, put up big numbers, win the game easily. But if we see him like last week, I think the Lions could pull the upset there. I think we're concerned with Aaron Rodgers. I think we look into Jordan Love, see what he's got in practice. But I'd definitely be concerned with Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, you got to look at last year, though. I mean, the Saints, week 1, blew out the Bucs. In week 1, we all thought, is there going to be concern? And the Bucs ended up winning the Super Bowl. I think it's the Packers. They would start off slow, and then they work their way, and I think they're going to be fine.
Who do y'all think will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Me? I don't know. That's tough here. So, kind of sad. I kind of just think of the Packers, but then when you look at them early, they look terrible. So I think they're out of the question for me so far. Probably just say the Bucs. I mean, they just look so good. Yeah, they were great last year. Good against the Cowboys early. So, go with the Bucs. Their defense is just too hard.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucs as well, but I also think an NFC West team could surprise everyone and make it to the playoffs, make it to the Super Bowl. I think the Rams are the strongest contender out of any of them. The 49ers secondary took a big hit, but I think it'll be Rams or the Bucs in the Super Bowl.
Anthony, who do you think will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl?
It's obviously everyone's going to say the Chiefs, but I'm going to go with the Bills. Yes, they lost week 1 to the Steelers, but I think Josh Allen, he's going to bounce back this week. I'm not sure who they play, but I think they're going to get a win. I think their defense is going to step up. I think their playmakers are just going to come to play. I think the Bills are going to represent the AFC.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs here because, I mean, they're the favorite. Most people think the Chiefs are when you got Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill out there, they're just they're just playing for fun. You're down by a lot. You just throw a deep 70-yard pass to Tyreek Hill, you're back in the game. So if we go with the Chiefs, but to talk about the Bills for a second, I don't think they're going to be the same team. I don't think Josh Allen's going to have that great of a year. I don't think he'll be an MVP candidate talk either. I don't think he'll be a top 3 quarterback. So I don't think the Bills. I think the Bills are definitely going to make the playoffs because of their division, but I just don't see a repeat of last year.
I don't trust the Kansas City defense. That's the only thing that worries about me. And I think when it comes down to defenses, Buffalo's got the better one. I think they'll be able to pull it out.
Moving on to our X factors, we start off with Thursday Night Football with the Washington Football Team versus the New York Giants. Guys?
My X factor is going to be the Washington secondary. I think Daniel Jones always plays good against them, always has a big game. But I think if they can cope with them, they lost Ronald Darby in the offseason. They still have Kendall Fuller, I think. And I think, again, if they can just shut down Sterling Shepard, Kenny Golladay, I think they'll be able to win this game. And I have Washington winning it as well.
Yeah, my X factors here are actually both of the team's running backs. Gibson posted not a good game week 1, and he's usually a workhorse running back. You see him get the carries that he usually gets, but just not getting yards against the Chargers. And you see Barkley coming back from an injury. If he's feeling it, getting the reps, getting the carries, I think the Giants could win this game. But I'm still going to go with the Washington Football Team. But I do think the X factors for this one are both the running backs.
Very interesting.
Moving on, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Braden?
I really hate to be that guy, but the X factor here is Lamar Jackson. You see him play against the Raiders. He looked pretty good. But, late in the game, he just couldn't pick up those first downs when he needed to. The first downs when he needed to. And I think that he's just going to be the X factor here. If he's feeling it on the ground, he can run for a first down at any time he needs to. So I think he's going to be the X factor, and I think the Chiefs, like you said earlier, the Chiefs' defense, their secondary is it kind of worries me when you look at them. Same thing with they just don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So I think that their defense concerns me, and I think if Lamar Jackson plays 2018 Lamar Jackson, 2019 Lamar Jackson, then I think the Ravens can win this one.
My X factor is going to be Nick Bolton, the linebacker. I think if he's going to be on Mark Andrews, if he goes into coverage, and he's going to be that guy that has to lead the linebacker core. They picked him first round. I thought it was a good pick, and he has to come in and make a difference. We haven't seen that. Nick Chubb ran all over that defense. I think if they want to stop Lamar, he has to be the spy on Lamar Jackson. But I have the Chiefs winning it too.
Last but not least, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions. Guys?
X factor's got to be Jared Goff. He had a decent game against the 49ers, nearly led them to a comeback, but if he can play like the year that they got in the Super Bowl with a much worse team, then I think they have a chance. But, his receivers, questionable, but I think he has to have a great game if they want to contend, and I'm actually going to give it to the Packers in a very close game.
Yeah, I'm going to give one from each team here. The Lions' X factor is 100% their defense, because if Aaron Rodgers looks bad, again, like he did week 1, and their defense steps up, I think the Lions win this game. And then for the Packers, it's got to be Aaron Rodgers. We just talked about how bad he looked in week 1, and you see how the team played, putting up 3 points when he plays that bad. So if they want to score, if they want to get points on the board and win the game, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to step up.
I agree.
Moving on to game picks, we start off with the 49ers versus Eagles. Anthony?
Give me the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts looked really good against Atlanta. And yes, it's Atlanta. It's a very bad defense. But the 49ers secondary took huge hits this past week. They're without Raheem Mostert, so I think it's Elijah Mitchell. He's going to step in. I think Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith have a good connection, so give me the Eagles in an upset.
I like the 49ers here. Their offense didn't look too bad, even with Raheem Mostert out. I know they're playing Detroit Lions in that game 1, so that's probably part of the reason. But I think that the 49ers can win this game. I just don't think the Eagles are really, they played a good week 1, but they played the Falcons, and anybody can put up 30 points against the Falcons. So I got the 49ers here. It's going to be a close game, though. Would see a close one.
Next up, we have the Bengals versus the Bears. Anthony?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I thought they looked really good against Minnesota. I think Joe Burrow's back to his best. We know he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, and he looked really good. That offensive line really surprised me with how good they were at protecting Joe Burrow, and then Jamar Chase had a really good game. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears at home. Bears it was okay performance in the first half of that game, and then they kind of the Rams blew away with it in the second half. But I think that the Bears, Andy Dalton and Justin Fields, kind of sharing reps here and there, but I think that they both looked serviceable at quarterback. And the Bears, I think the Bears they're a sneaky team sometimes. They find a way to win games, so I'll go with the Bears.
I don't trust Andy Dalton to lead any team.
I mean, you definitely see him against the Cowboys with the Cowboys last year, putting up just bad numbers, and they couldn't win a game with him. But I think that the Bengals, they just don't really have a great team on defense, great defensive unit. So I think that Andy Dalton can do just fine. And if he's struggling, they put Justin Fields in the game.
They have one of the best safeties in the NFL.
It's one safety. The rest, they're not going to get any pressure on the quarterback. Especially with Chicago Bears, I think they have a decent offensive line. It's not bad by any means. And Montgomery looked pretty good week 1, so I think they'll be fine.
I just think that the Bengals run all over that defense, which looked horrible.
Next up, we have the Colts versus the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to take the favorite of the Rams here. Just looked so good week 1. Stafford looked like a great quarterback. That's what we saw from an early age Stafford, kind of late towards the Lions. The Lions were a bad team, so he wasn't getting all the love that he deserved. But I think Stafford looks really well, really good. And so I think that the Rams defense also here, they're locked down. Jalen Ramsey's best corner in the league. Aaron Donald's best pass rusher in the league. I think just great team. Got the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams too, but I think it's going to be a really close game. I think Indy didn't look great against Seattle, but Carson Wentz put up some good numbers. I think he's going to have a better game, and I think the Rams are going to pull it out maybe by a field goal.
Next up, we have the Bills versus the Dolphins. Anthony?
Give me the Bills. I think it's a bounce-back game. For them, last week was a fluke. They had 10-point lead and then lost it, but I think Josh Allen is going to put up big numbers. I think they're going to win this game by more than 10 points.
I was just, hating on the Bills here. So I think this is going to be a really close game. The Dolphins go to New England and get a win, which is pretty hard to do on a Patriots opener at Foxborough. So I think that I'm still going to go with the Bills here. I think it's going to be a closer game than you expect, but I think that the Dolphins, they have a chance of winning this one. So
we'll see.
Moving on, we have the Broncos versus the Jaguars. Anthony?
I'm going to go with the Broncos here. I think their defense looked really good against the New York Giants, and Trevor Lawrence really struggled. I think that we're going to get a good matchup. Teddy Bridgewater looked, again, really good in his debut. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here, but I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah, I think Lawrence definitely struggled week 1, but I think he has a bounce back week 2 against the Broncos. They do have a good defense, and they looked really, really good against the Giants. But I think that the Jags here, they're going to step up this game. They're going to get a win.
Next up, we have the Patriots versus the Jets. Braden?
I take the Pats here. They still looked pretty good week 1. The Dolphins just looked a little better. But when you're playing the Jets, you're going to get a win. So give me the Patriots.
Yeah, give me the Patriots too. I think Mac Jones looked really, really good against a good Miami defense. And now he's playing on a team that is just horrible. So give me the Patriots. Huge. Big win for the Patriots.
Next up, Raiders versus Steelers. Braden?
Both these teams here looked super good in week 1. The Steelers' defense just shut down Josh Allen and the Bills. And then we got the Raiders beating the Ravens on Monday night. So I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I think that the Steelers, their defense is just best. I think it's best in the league. I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to go with the Steelers here. Just don't think the Raiders are going to win this one.
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they looked really good against Baltimore. Yes, they were down 14-0 early, but Derek Carr, he's an okay quarterback who can lead a team, and I think the Steelers defense is going to have some problems with Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, so I think it's really good, really underrated wide receiver, and Darren Waller we know he's going to be. So give me the Raiders.
Following that game, we have a divisional matchup between the Saints and the Panthers. Anthony?
It's going to be the Saints. They just went out and destroyed the Packers, and I think the Panthers are nowhere near as good as the Packers. Yes, Christian McCaffrey, second. He's top 2 running back in the NFL. But I just think that the Saints have a very good defense, very underrated defense. I think Jameis Winston wins the second 2-0.
Yeah, I think the Saints, they look so good week 1. It's hard to pick against them. But I'm going to go with the Panthers. And I think the reason I'm going with the Panthers here is because Jameis Winston always has a pretty good performance, and then the next game he throws 5 interceptions. And we've seen that when he was on the Bucs. So I think that Winston, I don't think he has a good game. Even with the Carolina defense not being very good, I think he still finds a way to throw some interceptions. I think the Panthers take advantage, and I think McCaffrey has a big day against the Saints.
You're very high on the Panthers for some reason.
What?
You're very high on the Panthers for some very
I don't know what it is, but I like the Panthers. I like their offense. They got young receivers. DJ Moore looks good. Robbie Anderson. Sam Darnold looked good week 1. I know they were playing the Jets, a little revenge game there, but just Sam Darnold. I think he can be what the Panthers were looking for.
No, give me the Saints big.
Next up, we have the AFC South leading Texans versus the Browns.
Yeah, you're really big on those Texans over there.
I think they're pretty good.
Hate to pick against you, Caleb, but I'm going to go with the Browns. Browns they look good week 1 against the Chiefs. The Houston Texans got to win, but they didn't play anybody. So give me the Browns. They look good. The running back core is good. Got a good offense. Got a good defense. They got all the pieces to the puzzle. Take the Browns.
Yeah, Browns big. I mean, if it's anybody else, they win week 1. But unfortunately, it was the Kansas City Chiefs. Texans played a very bad Jacksonville defense, and Urban Meyer didn't work out. I don't think he will. So give me the Browns big.
Next up, we have the Falcons versus the Bucs. Anthony?
Bucks big. Falcons are the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, I think the Bucs are going to win this one, but I think we got a shootout here. I think Matt Ryan's going to have a bounce back week 2. Calvin Ridley finds a way to get some production. He didn't have much last week. I think they kind of work, Pitts into the offense a little more. I think that the Falcons could put up some points. I think we see this one in the 30s or 40s. But I still think the Bucs are going to win.
No, Falcons are nowhere near that good.
I think Matt Ryan has a good week. He had a bad week against the Eagles, but that's just week 1. And you see Matt Ryan, he's always finding a way to put up yards. I think he gets in the end zone a lot this game. So.
Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Arizona Cardinals. Anthony?
Give me Arizona. I think it'll be a very close game, but I think that Arizona is going to do what they did against Tennessee and put up some big numbers. So give me Arizona.
Yeah, I got Arizona easy. They just look so calm out there. Kyler Murray, impressive week 1, best quarterback performance I think. Maybe besides Matt Stafford, but I think Kyler Murray he's definitely an MVP candidate, and I think Chandler Jones, Defensive Player of the Year after week 1. So I think the Cardinals are going to win this one. I don't think it's going to be much of a competition here. So yeah, Cardinals.
Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Braden?
America's team. Can't pick against them. Give me the Dallas Cowboys. Week 1, Dak looked good. Dak is back. Find the way to get Zeke the ball a little more, get him some more touches. Chargers definitely going to be good offense with Herbert, and Austin Eckler is going to have a big week against that Cowboys defense that's not very good. But when you got Dak Prescott at quarterback putting up 400 yards a game, you can't pick against them. Give me Dallas.
I can. I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I think Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen are going to have a very, very good game. I think Mike Williams is, again, a very good game against a weak secondary, a weak defense. And I think Austin Eckler's going to have a big one. Again, I think Dak will keep it close, but I just don't see them winning it. Give me the Chargers.
Last game of the week, we have the Titans versus the Seahawks. Anthony?
The Titans. I know they looked horrible against Arizona, but I think they're going to have a bounce back. Ryan Tannehill is a very good quarterback. He's got 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. They have again, the best running back in the NFL. I just think their defense can step up, lock down Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf, and I think they're going to win. Give me Tennessee.
Yeah, you set aside the Packers here, and I think the Titans was second worst team after week 1. You know, they definitely had high expectations, and you know, they disappointed for sure. Many people thought they were going to win. They were definitely the favorite. So I think that the Titans, just with all their big name players, I think they find a way to turn it around in week 2. But I think the Seahawks are still going to win this game. Definitely like Russell Wilson. Definitely like what he did week 1. Tyler Lockett looked great. DK Metcalf looked great. So I think that they're just going to find a way to win this game, put the Titans 0-2. I'm not saying I think the Titans still win the division there, but I think the Seahawks are going to take this one. So give me Seattle.
That's all for Beyond the Sidelines this week. I'm Caleb Weber with Anthony Silvani and Braden Fickle, and we'll see you next week.